Hopefully these two can work it out. They have a young daughter.
And for as strong as I am, I was like, no, I do have needs.
Honestly, it's been a really tough year for Katy Perry.
He goes with the everyone.
Did you and Orlando talk while you guys were like kind of not broken up, or no?
Real emotional support animal, because I'm very emotional right now.
After nearly a decade of love, heartbreak, reconciliation, and public devotion, it's finally over. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom have broken their silence. But this wasn't your typical celebrity breakup filled with public outbursts and tabloid scandals. No, this ending was quiet, subtle, almost eerie. For weeks, fans watched in confusion as the couple, once inseparable, seemed to disappear from each other's lives. No shared photos, no red carpet moments, no loving comments, just silence. And in that silence, the rumors grew louder. Then came the clues. Orlando Bloom showing up alone to one of the most high-profile weddings of the year while Katy was oceans away on tour. His cryptic posts about loneliness and darkness. Her tearful performances breaking down on stage mid-song. Fans were left piecing it all together like a mystery, and now the truth has finally surfaced. But this isn't just a story about two celebrities going their separate ways. It's a raw, emotional unraveling of a relationship that once seemed unbreakable. From emotional turmoil and career stress to whispered rumors and quiet tension, this split has layers, and Katy's emotional message has everyone talking. What really happened between Katy and Orlando? Why now? And what did she say that left fans completely heartbroken? It didn't start with a press release or a dramatic Instagram post. It started with silence. The kind of silence that feels heavy, strange, off. For a couple as public and affectionate as Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, it didn't take long for fans to notice that something wasn't right. The red carpet appearances stopped. The social media interactions vanished. The photos? Gone. For weeks, there were no signs of each other in their lives. And for a couple that had spent nearly a decade under the spotlight together, the sudden quiet was deafening. Then came the moment that truly ignited the firestorm. Orlando Bloom appeared alone at the wedding of the year, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's extravagant celebration in Venice. Surrounded by A-listers, flashing cameras, and global attention, and no Katy in sight, people were confused. Why would she skip such a major event? Was this the first public sign that something had changed? At first, sources claimed it was simply a scheduling conflict. Katy, after all, was deep into her Lifetime's tour in Australia. But the explanation felt thin, especially when you consider Katy had recently been involved in the bride's bachelorette party and was even part of Jeff Bezos' infamous all-female space flight. If anyone had a seat at that wedding, it was Katy Perry. And yet, she was nowhere to be found. Social media exploded. Fan pages started digging. And then came the whispers. Katy and Orlando might have quietly split. Was it just a rough patch? Were they keeping things private for the sake of their daughter, Daisy? Or was the fairy tale finally over? People started connecting the dots. Katy's emotional performances on tour, Orlando's cryptic Instagram posts, the absence, the silence. And suddenly, what started as quiet speculation turned into a full-blown mystery. One fans were desperate to solve. If the silence wasn't enough, the cryptic signs that followed made everything feel even more unsettling. Just days after his solo appearance at the Bezos wedding, Orlando Bloom took to Instagram, not with photos or smiles, but with something far more haunting. A quote, not just any quote, but one by psychiatrist Carl Jung that read, "Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself." It was raw, vulnerable, almost like a silent cry for help. And then came another. "Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness," he wrote. Fans were stunned. For someone usually private, Orlando's sudden emotional transparency spoke volumes. He didn't name Katy, didn't say anything directly, but the message was loud and clear. Something had shifted, something deep. Meanwhile, across the globe, Katy was on stage, but not in her usual glittering, larger-than-life presence. During a concert in Mexico City, she broke down while singing Pearl, a song about losing yourself in a relationship. She sobbed, mid-performance, struggling to finish the lyrics. At another show in Adelaide, she held her hands in the shape of a heart and told the crowd, "Thank you, Australia, for always being there for me." Her voice cracked, her eyes welled up. This wasn't just a performer connecting with fans. It was a woman carrying the weight of heartbreak. For those paying attention, the message was clear. This wasn't a rumor spiraling out of control. This was a relationship slowly unraveling in plain sight, expressed not through words, but through emotion, art, and silence. After weeks of speculation, cryptic messages, and teary performances, the silence finally broke, but not with fireworks. There was no dramatic breakup announcement, no exclusive interview, no finger pointing. Instead, representatives for both Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom quietly confirmed what fans had already feared. The couple had indeed separated. Their joint statement didn't mention heartbreak or betrayal. It was calm, carefully worded, almost surgical.
Orlando and Katy have been shifting their relationship over the past many months to focus on co-parenting.
It read,
They will continue to be seen together as a family, as their shared priority is and always will be raising their daughter with love, stability, and mutual respect.
It wasn't just a breakup. It was a redefinition. Not lovers anymore, but partners in parenthood. No animosity, no drama, just an understanding that something had changed, and they were choosing a different path. For the public, it felt surreal. How could a couple that had once lit up red carpets and shared dreamy Instagram captions just fade into this quiet, amicable ending? But perhaps that's what made it even more heartbreaking. There were no fights to distract from the sadness, no chaos to shift the blame. Just two people, once deeply in love, admitting that the love had changed. And somehow, that made the truth hit even harder. Behind the polished statements and public smiles, insiders reveal a more complicated story. One of growing tension, unspoken frustrations, and emotional strain that had been simmering for months. Sources close to the couple say the breakup was a long time coming, but not explosive or bitter. Instead, it was marked by quiet struggles and difficult conversations that neither wanted to have but couldn't avoid. One insider shared that Katy was relieved the separation wasn't another divorce like her painful split from Russell Brand. That chapter had left deep scars, and the fear of repeating that experience weighed heavily on her. For Katy and Orlando, this breakup was about finding peace, about ending the relationship on terms that preserve respect and dignity, especially for their daughter Daisy. But the cracks ran deeper than just personal feelings. Tensions had been escalating over the past several months, fueled by a mix of career pressures, emotional exhaustion, and the challenges of balancing parenthood. Friends noticed that their once playful, carefree interactions had become tense and distant. Though they tried to work through their issues, the distance grew. Despite the difficulties, sources emphasize that the split has been not contentious, and that both Katy and Orlando remain committed to co-parenting and supporting each other as they move forward. It's a bittersweet ending, one that speaks more to maturity than drama, but also to the harsh realities of life in the spotlight. Behind every breakup are stories that rarely make the headlines, and for Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, the pressures of fame and career played a major role in wearing down their relationship. Katy, known for her powerhouse performances and chart-topping hits, faced a challenging year. Her seventh studio album, 143, released in September 2024, was met with disappointment from critics and fans alike. Some even claimed it sounded AI-generated, an accusation that cut deep in an industry that prizes authenticity and artistry. The backlash didn't stop there. Katy's Lifetimes tour, meant to showcase her resilience and artistry, was marred by mixed reviews and emotional moments where she visibly struggled on stage. Coupled with the disappointment of leaving American Idol and the controversial spaceflight with Jeff Bezos, Katy's world was anything but stable. These career setbacks took an emotional toll. Sources say Katy was deeply frustrated and stressed, and though Orlando tried to be understanding, the strain was undeniable. Parenting a young daughter, juggling demanding careers, and coping with public scrutiny created a pressure cooker environment. Orlando, too, had his own challenges. Between filming commitments and co-parenting responsibilities, his time and energy were stretched thin. The couple's once shared spotlight had slowly dimmed into two separate worlds, parallel lives trying to hold together a fragile connection. The result? A relationship tested by external forces where love alone wasn't enough to bridge the growing distance. As the relationship quietly unraveled, Orlando Bloom seemed to be stepping into a new chapter of his own. After the whispers of a split began to surface, Orlando was spotted at Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's lavish wedding in Venice, this time notably alone. Far from the cozy duo fans had once admired, he was mingling with Hollywood's elite, including Kim Kardashian and Sydney Sweeney, with an air of detachment. But the story didn't end there. Following the wedding festivities, Orlando was seen sharing a water taxi ride with none other than Vittoria Chiretti, Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend, sparking even more speculation about his personal life. Was this a sign he was moving on quickly, or simply a way to escape the mounting pressures at home? Shortly after, Orlando boarded the luxury Ritz-Carlton's Luminara for its inaugural cruise from Rome, a gleaming 794-foot yacht sailing through the Mediterranean. While Katy continued her demanding tour down under, Orlando seemed to be carving out a space of his own, perhaps seeking solace or distraction amid the storm. Whether this is a fresh start or just a temporary getaway remains unknown. But for fans watching closely, Orlando's actions painted a picture of a man stepping away from the relationship and into a different rhythm of life. While Orlando appeared to be carving out space for himself, Katy Perry was confronting the emotional fallout in the spotlight, literally. During one of the early shows on her Lifetime's tour in Mexico City, fans witnessed a rare and deeply vulnerable moment. As she sang Pearl, a haunting ballad about leaving a troubled romance behind, Katy broke down in tears mid-performance, struggling to finish the song. The raw emotion wasn't lost on anyone watching. It was clear this wasn't just a song, it was a reflection of her real pain. Her vulnerability didn't end there. At a later show in Adelaide, Australia, Katy paused the music and with a trembling voice told the audience, "Thank you, Australia, for always being there for me." Holding her hands in the shape of a heart, she fought back tears as fans rallied around her, offering love and support through cheers and applause. It was a powerful reminder that beneath the superstar glamour lies a woman navigating heartbreak and healing. Through her performances, Katy gave fans a window into her soul, showing strength wrapped in fragility. Her message wasn't just about loss, it was about resilience, connection, and finding light even in the darkest moments. For many, those onstage tears were a testament to the deep emotional journey she was undergoing, one that couldn't be hidden behind the usual celebrity gloss. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom's romance was anything but ordinary. Their journey began in 2016 when they first appeared together at a Golden Globes after-party, quickly capturing the public's heart with their undeniable chemistry. But like any real love story, theirs was marked by both joy and challenges. They briefly split in 2017, only to rekindle their relationship the following year. On Valentine's Day 2019, Orlando proposed with a stunning ring rumored to be worth millions, an emblem of their renewed commitment. In 2020, they welcomed their daughter Daisy Dove, a symbol of their shared future and love. Their public moments often shimmered with happiness, from glamorous red carpet appearances to their first on-screen collaboration in 2021, where they appeared as elders warning about the future in a short film aimed at promoting voting rights. Yet, beneath the surface, the pressures of fame, career demands, and personal struggles quietly tested their bond. The last few years have been a roller coaster, filled with tender family moments, painful setbacks, and the growing realization that love alone sometimes isn't enough. Their story reminds us that even the brightest relationships can face shadows, and that sometimes the most courageous act is knowing when to let go. Though their romantic chapter has come to an end, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom's story is far from over. What remains is a new kind of love, one rooted in respect, partnership, and a shared dedication to raising their daughter, Daisy, in a stable and loving environment. Their journey reminds us that not all endings have to be messy or filled with bitterness. Sometimes, the quiet, mutual decision to part ways is a sign of growth, a recognition that love can take many forms. For Katy, this difficult chapter might just be the beginning of healing and rediscovery, a chance to rebuild on her own terms. And for fans watching from afar, it's a poignant reminder that behind the headlines and glamorous facades, these are real people, navigating complex emotions, just like all of us. As Katy's recent messages showed, even a broken heart can shine on stage. And that light is what keeps us all going.